he is a New Orleans native, so you know I'm excited about that. A drummer, composer, and band leader who has graced the stage with Joss Stone, Jon Batiste, and many more. Artist and musician Brian Richburg is part of New Legaxy, which is performing at the Winston House in LA tonight, and he's joining us this morning to tell us all about the show and get us excited. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Sheba.
Love to welcome part of my New Orleans family
thank
here.
You so much. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to be here. Okay, tell us about the show tonight.
So tonight, the show is featuring my band, a project that I put together some years ago, and it's in Venice at Winston House, which is an incredible venue here. They're actually closing very soon, so this is one of their last shows in that space in Venice, and it's featuring Grammy Award-winning artist Rae Khalil. Yeah, it's going to be a great time tonight of music, fun, fellowship. So,
That's really cool. I always love bringing parts of New Orleans here to LA with me. I know you live in New York now, but clearly you travel all over for shows. Part of our heritage, though, in New Orleans is music, food, culture, all of that. Tell us how you got into music. Probably super young. Very
young, of course. Growing up in New Orleans, but growing up in New Orleans church culture. My father is a minister and a pastor in New Orleans, Brian Richburg Sr. I credit him as my first teacher. You know, his tutelage was kind of what got me into music and to be serious about the music. And then I met a man by the name of Donald Harrison, who's a very legendary chief.
A legend, absolutely.
In the black masking tradition in New Orleans, but also a jazz musician who's played with Art Blakey, McCoy Tyner, etc. He's been a mentor, for Christian McBride, Esperanza Spalding, his nephew Christian Scott, Jon Batiste, etc. And he kind of was the one who pushed me and put me into all of these different spaces. So yeah, I started off pretty early.
Dropping all these legendary New Orleans names.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your band. What does the sound like for people not familiar with it?
So New Legaxy, the concept came about is you know, coming up in New Orleans, we have such a great tradition of music. I wanted to somehow uphold the drum tradition that is so legendary within New Orleans, within the world, but also add the influences of, you know, I was born in 1999. I grew up listening to, I shouldn't have said that, but I grew up listening to Lil Wayne, but I also grew up, you know, in church listening to like Donnie McClurkin and Yolanda Adams, but I grew up also listening to Christian, who was a big fan of Radiohead. So I wanted to just amalgamate all of these different sounds, but also keep true to my tradition and my culture in New Orleans. So
that's really
that's
cool.
What it is, yeah.
The 99 and the 2000, that's when you were born.
99, 2000.
Got it. You know, I'm 89, so I'm not that much older than you, but anybody after the 90s, I don't count it. I just throw y'all in the baby pile. Okay, let's talk about one of your most recent accolades, recording an album that was voted Best Jazz Record by the New York Times.
Yes.
That's really cool. Tell me about the record and what it felt like to get that accomplishment.
Oh, that was amazing. Just because Christian Scott, my big brother, he's now Chief Adjuah. I've been watching him, not just from a musical perspective, but also just like his aesthetic and how he moves and how he does certain things with the sound of music since I was maybe 10 or 11. And, you know, to tour in his band and then to now be a part of this new regime and this new phase of music he's in. Like this record, he didn't play any trumpet. He just played the bow, he sung. He did a lot of folkloric African music and black masking tradition music. And to bring my own thing to that, you know, he didn't ask me to play anything specific. He allowed me to be me. So to have that record on the New York Times as the best jazz album of 2023 it was amazing.
That is epic. Yeah. Congratulations on that. No, it's really cool probably to be able to perform and share our culture with people all over the country. I always say it's like you get bragging rights being from New Orleans.
Definitely.
Like people love it, but you live in New York now. You're in LA, another great place to be like, oh yeah, we live in all the cool spots, right, that people like. So what is it like to bring that piece of New Orleans to a place tonight where people probably, a lot of them haven't been to New Orleans, don't know the music, the sound, they're probably still super excited to see you.
Exactly. It's great. I think all of us, like you just said and attested to, us that leave New Orleans, we're cultural bearers. So we have a responsibility to bring that energy wherever we go. And people can see it on us. It's very apparent, it's very obvious. At first they don't know what it is, but then once you tell them you're from New Orleans, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you get it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what that thing is.
Exactly.
That spark. Well, I'm so glad you brought that spark to LA. Have a great show tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for dropping by the studio when you're here. From LA to LA is what I always say.
I love that. Let's
Great
go.
to see you, Brian. All right, you can find all the information for Brian and New Legaxy's performance tonight at the Winston House on our website, kcalnews.com/sceneontv.